So this channel has obviously not been that big of a priority, which you can tell by the fact that I don't don't upload. And it's because, this channel was supposed to be about reading, and then I also was incorporating writing, and I'm not really doing either of those things unless it's for grad school. So this video is just going to be about kind of the different issues that I've been having, especially in dealing with burnout. So here's everything that I've been up to. I've been studying for my English master's. I've been working. I've been planning for my wedding. And I've been fixing up the house I bought, which, to be fair, some things were done for me by the seller. I got very, very lucky. The seller of this house is an amazing person, and he had it painted, and he got new kitchen floor, and so those were two major things. Totally gotten out of the way. It just needed a lot of cleaning and different types of attention. And yeah, it's just all of those things individually wouldn't have been so bad. It's just putting them all together. And I've always heard, that getting a master's in English is kind of this brutal process. There's so much reading, there's so much writing. And I thought that I would be okay because not only do I like to do those things, but I love school, I love literary criticism. This is the stuff I geek out about. But when I was getting my undergraduate, I was working at Arby's. Now I have a whole career. And I take work home and stuff like that. So it's just not the same thing at all. And I really didn't think that it would feel like this, but it does. And I'm totally burnt out. And you have to keep in mind, I'm a teacher, and Stephen King in his book on writing basically said that when he was writing and teaching at the same time, it was like trying to write with jumper cables hanging out of your ears. And I think that goes for writing for fun and writing for your master's. One thing that I'm kind of upset about is, the school I'm at, the expectations are so inconsistent. There are some classes I've taken where the expectations have been pretty mild. And the thing is, when I am working harder in these classes, a lot of the time, not all the time, but a lot of the time I'm working hard, but not necessarily working smart. So in my undergraduate program, in my undergraduate school, is a very good school. And by the time you hit 300 level classes, there was always an independent research component. I have done slim to none when it comes to independent research for this master's program. I've done one, I would say, really good paper, with independent research and an independently driven thesis. And that's basically it. So it's not even, and the thing is, independent research was what I liked about undergrad. That's what I liked about literary studies. So there's that. The classes that I have learned quite a bit from, I took one class, the content wasn't so much challenging. It was just that professor was a very harsh grader with writing, and I feel like I grew a lot in that class. I took a medieval literature course, and I've never studied that sort of thing before in my life, and I was learning Middle English and stuff. And I was reading a lot of structuralism in that class, which is hard. And then this last class I took, it had to do with a lot of poetry, a lot of metrical poetry, which was really new for me because I've predominantly studied free verse poetry in my life. So I had to learn a lot, and I did learn a lot. But here's where I'm mad. The last week of that class, especially, the whole thing was hard, but that last week was brutal. I had an assignment due every single day. And a lot of times professors will, maybe the last assignment or two, even though the chunk of time that you have to do it, because I'm not on a semester schedule, my classes are 7-week spurts. Sometimes they'll have your assignment is technically due after that 7-week, spurt of time because, you need time to complete it. They got to catch up on grading anyway. This lady had an assignment due every single day within the last week, and it was go. And the thing is, I started to notice that my health was starting to feel impacted by the amount of stress that I was under. I was starting to feel chest pains. I wasn't sleeping well. And shortly after that, I started experiencing major signs of burnout, moments of panic, racing heart, feeling sick, just exhausted and overwhelmed, could not sleep for crap. I had such a hard time for like a month afterwards staying asleep. That's never been a problem before in my entire life. I've never had issues like this before. And I just felt miserable, like continually afterwards. And I really think it's because I just got to the point where, you know, with all the different things going on, plus that I was so stressed out that it just, I couldn't do it. I couldn't take it. Even if it was over, I couldn't take it anymore. And what makes me so mad is we had an assignment due every single day that week. This 7-week stretch of time, the 7-week class ended February 29th. It is currently, at the time that I'm filming this, it is April 14th. And I don't have my final grade yet. And the thing of it is, I could get a 0 on this assignment and I would still pass the class by a very wide margin. I haven't lost any points in this class. But it's just, I had to impact my health for this course, and for her to not look at the assignment until over a month and a half later, I don't know. It's just, I feel like as a teacher, I wouldn't do that to my kids. And none of my undergraduate professors would have done that to me. They seem to be using the 7-week chunk of time. You know, if you're in the first half of the semester, they don't have a proper due date for grades. And so as a result, they're not really pushing themselves to get anything scored in a timely manner. At least this person is. So, and it makes me upset because it was a beneficial class, even though it was hard. I learned a lot. It's just, it ended up destroying me. And for what? For what? So yeah, I'm in a break right now. My next class does not start till July 1st, and it is the last one. And that is the master's thesis. And then after that, I have my degree. I get a raise. Hallelujah. And so I've been trying to like reclaim my life, because everything was just so crazy at once, where I was kicked out of my apartment because I got a cat and I wasn't supposed to, whatever. That happened. And then, I had bid on a house. I got it. I won the bid. The home inspection didn't go well at all. There was even more problems than I thought that there was going to be. So I passed on it. And then I had to move back in with my family for a little bit. And a little bit turned into a lot of it because I kept losing bids on houses, sometimes by $2,000, sometimes by like $20,000. And it was very, very stressful to find something that wasn't totally falling apart, that was within my budget. Then when I got this house, I had to do, I was taking a lot of grad school classes, and I was, moving and cleaning and, doing I was teaching while doing the master's program, and I was, starting to be able to plan this wedding. And as a result, like when I wasn't, I had a 7-week break between some classes, and during that whole break, I was working on my basement, and so I feel like this recent class ended, and I don't even know what I want to do with my time now. Like, I don't even know what to do with myself, because I feel like I've just been working so hard, so constantly since last summer, that I haven't really been able to focus on reading, and I haven't been able to focus on writing. I have been putting, I feel like, a little too much stress on myself regarding the wedding, because honestly, it's a situation. My fiance is moving in with me from a very, very far away place, and I want things to be nice, because, he's not even going to have much of his family here. And I don't know, I just want it to be, he doesn't put pressure on me, but I kind of put the pressure on myself. I want it to be really nice. And his family had even thrown us a really lavish engagement party in his home country. So there's that kind of pressure too. One key thing that has been ongoing for me since the pandemic, though, is I have problems, and it took me a long time to figure out why, but with executive dysfunction. And I don't have ADHD or anything like that. It appears to have been stress-induced. When you think about it, I had to deal with pandemic stress as a teacher, as a new teacher, and then I jumped into grad school, and I jumped into moving and stuff like that. I mean, there was a lot going on at the time, but one thing that I've been hearing a lot about online that is really starting to make sense to me is decision fatigue, because teachers make so many decisions every single day, and it's exhausting. And I think as a result, in our personal lives, it can be very hard to make decisions. It can be very difficult. And I feel like I never realized how often that would have impacted my hobbies. It's as simple as deciding what to do in my free time. It's as simple as writing, because when you write, you aren't making like a billion different decisions as you go. When you're editing, you're making a billion different decisions as you go. So this whole time, I feel like I've been so stumped as to why I can't be productive anymore and why I've neglected writing. And I really think that that's it. I think that that is honestly my hurdle, is I have such a hard time making decisions. I think that there's also now a pressure I'm putting on myself to write publishable things, since I have self-published one book. And the thing is, when you can't decide what to do, what do? You mess around on your phone and you look through short form content. I think that short form content is awful. I'm not gonna lie to you. And I don't even mean the quality of the content. Like, I think that there's a lot of good stuff out there. I love the 2000s and 90s, like, nostalgia short form content creators, and like, oh, what's her name? Caroline Neeson, I think is her name. You know, I love her. Like, I feel like it's not that the content itself is bad. It's just that this constant feed of short form stuff makes it very difficult to pull away once you start looking at some of it. And I feel like I keep getting stuck in, you know, I never downloaded the TikTok app, but like I can't escape it. Like, I get stuck in the YouTube short spiral, and I get stuck in the Instagram Reels spiral, and I need to get out of that as well. Another big issue that I've been having is I have become so disillusioned by the publishing industry. You know, in case if it wasn't enough that I was burnt out and I decided to pause querying my science fiction because of, you know, grad school and stress and, you know, burnout and stuff like that. In addition, I look at what's going on in publishing right now, and I feel incredibly discouraged at this point. And I've never felt really so discouraged before regarding publishing until now. And the thing is, self-publishing went okay for me. Like, I didn't sell that many copies, but like, I knew I wasn't going to sell that many copies. It was a poetry collection specifically about tarot. Poetry doesn't sell that well. Plus, this was very niche. So like, I sold like over 250 copies. I think I'm up to like 276 or something like that in a couple years. I think that that's fine for a niche project, and I'm cool with that. It's just, in the past 3 years of observing the, you know, hashtag writing community online, it just feels like everything has changed since I have started querying, you know, a while ago. So, for example, we have AI messing everything up. Now we have, you know, if agents were already overwhelmed by the sheer number of writers, you know, sending things in, and now they have to sift through crap made by AI. And as a result of just more and more people, both real and AI, submitting things, the number of average rejections that you hear about someone has, like, getting goes up. So, like, I remember, like, a long time ago, people thought that it was insane that J.K. Rowling had 12 rejections for Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. If you today get published after only 12 rejections, you're God at that point. Like, you are God status. Like, what did you do? What miracle did you perform? Like, or how were you blessed with that ability? And then when I started querying, it seemed like the norm was anywhere between like 50 and 100 rejections before, you know, you get published. And now it seems to be more like 100 to 200 rejections, sometimes way more than that. And that's obviously a lot. And so we have to put up with more rejection. We have to put up with, you know, waiting more. But here's the part that is getting to me, is the number of authors I'm seeing that become agented and are so excited, and then their project dies on submission, dies on sub. And so what that means is, you know, in the publishing process, you get a literary agent to represent you, and they try to find the best publisher for your work. And agents are not able to find everyone a publisher. And this seems like it's happening all the time in the circles that I'm in, or, you know, that I kind of peek into, I guess. So it's like, you can work so hard, You can query so many agents, get 200 and something rejections, sometimes more than that, and you die on sub. That's just horrendous to me to even imagine. And then, some people in this time are turning to, small publishers. And honestly, they don't impress me most of the time. I'm hearing about authors that don't have the best experiences with them. Some of the covers are really crappy. It's just like most of the promo still seems to be done by the author themselves. So we're going to hype up small publishers for what? The one interaction that I had that was substantial with a small publisher that I queried with them, they told me, this is the only piece of feedback I had at the time gotten about my manuscript. Everyone else had rejected me by being like, sorry, we're just not interested in this. This sounds really cool. It doesn't really fit what I'm looking for, la-ti-da. These people were like, this doesn't make sense. You should pay for our editing services, which is clearly just a sales pitch. And then, within a year they shut down. So I don't know. Small publishers don't impress me. They don't feel like a solution to me right now. Maybe when I start to hear about some better places, it will feel like the solution to me, but right now it simply does not. As a result, I'm starting to seriously consider not traditionally publishing. I always thought that I would traditionally publish, but now I look at my body of science fiction that I cannot come up with a comp for to save my life, a comparison, because publishing loves comparison novels right now. I can't think of anything. I've never been able to think of anything. I think if I do start to do so, I guess the only choice I really have, the only person I've been compared to, the people that have read or have heard about my science fiction, they've all compared me to Ursula K. Le Guin, which feels pretentious. I guess I would market myself as a fast-paced Ursula K. Le Guin. And like I said, it just doesn't feel right to compare yourself to someone that is so great and so honored. But I'm out of ideas at this point. If this is who people say I'm like, then that's who I'm like. I don't know. It wasn't my intention. And maybe I just need to get past that and stop being so humble and just embrace the Le Guin vibes. I just don't know if I'm a good fit for this industry anymore and if it's a good fit for me. Realistically, I will probably query again. I did get some good feedback recently from some agents. I entered the Pacific Northwest Writers Association contest, where you send sample pages, you send a query letter, you send your synopsis and stuff like that. I got some really helpful and useful feedback there. I just feel disappointed in a way. I mean, it's not that I think that self-publishing is a failure, because there's a lot of people that make good money and have success through self-publishing. I mean, if you look at, she writes under an alias, but Lydia Foxglove. I've subscribed to her YouTube channel. It's called The Cozy Creative. Like, she has been able to be so productive and really build up a career out of self-publishing. And I look at people like Katie Wismer, like, she's also kind of built this career around self-publishing and stuff like that. And she is, I think, one of, like, I feel like those two, Cozy Creative and Katie Wismer, Kate's Book Date, I think that they tend to be, like, my favorite authors to follow on, like, AuthorTube, because they're humble to their own experiences. They're always very much like, this is how I did this, or this is my advice based off of my experiences. When a lot of AuthorTube is very, like, arrogant and stuff like that. So I don't know. I watch people like Katie and like Jacqueline, Lydia Foxglove, and I think that, I don't know, I look at them and I feel kind of inspired. And I look at, how the Poets Tarot did and how I just got a bigger response than I expected. I feel like theoretically I could self-publish with moderate success. Because really, I mean, I've done a lot of research on how to market, and I think I did okay for the Poets Tarot. I feel like I have even more ideas now. And I mean, I had an amazing cover artist for the Poets Tarot, and I would love to work with her again. And I think that for my science fiction, I would hire an editor just to clean anything up that I might miss, because when you're working with, 1,000 pages of content, because I have like 3 different science fiction books, well, 2 that are done and 1 that is planned within the same world, I feel like you need another set of eyes. So the thing is, I don't know. I want to go over my main science fiction manuscript that I got feedback on with the critiques that I received. I don't know when I'm going to have the energy to do it. Like, I'm trying to be kind to myself, and because I know that I am recovering from burnout and that my health was not in a good place and that I'm still getting better. And so I'm trying not to put too much pressure on myself. I'm starting to, acknowledge my decision fatigue, and I'm trying to find ways to lighten the weight of every decision that I make, whether it's creative or otherwise. And so I'm hoping that maybe this summer, maybe before grad school starts again, maybe I could spend some time doing those edits and I can get back into the querying game again after the master's thesis. And then maybe we'll see how that goes for like a year. And then maybe after querying for a year, maybe I'll just self-publish, and maybe that'll be my thing. I don't know. So I don't know if anyone can relate to any of the stuff in this video. I mean, I'm sure somebody can. I feel like we've all been overworked before. I mean, look at this world. Look at what's expected of us nowadays. Like, it's just, I feel like a lot of us are taking on so much. I don't know. I just wanted to put this video out into the world to just kind of air out kind of what I'm going through, what I've been thinking about a lot lately. And yeah, it's just, I'm hoping that I can get back into reading and writing and also continue to, make videos and stuff, because I do like doing YouTube. It's just, when you feel overwhelmed, even the things that you like to do can just feel like one more thing. So hopefully I'll be back more. Maybe I won't. I don't know. But we'll find out, I guess. Bye.